Welcome to Alive and Thriving. As we go to air today, we are just 2 days out from our very first free EFT tapping live immersion. So, this is a free event called Tap Away Your Mental Load, where we are going to soften the noise of the endless thoughts, help you to release stress in your mind and your physical body, as well as make sure that you have some pretty awesome stress management tools to move forward so you can help yourself actually switch off moving forward. You are going to leave feeling calm and grounded. And we have a live session this coming Sunday as well as Monday. Now, if you've missed the lives and you're listening to this later and you're thinking, I would absolutely love to be a part of that free event, you will be able to get access to the replay. So all you need to do is head to the link that is down in the show notes, and that will help you either register live or access an on demand and come and join me. Come and join me for a different experience. If you are constantly on the go and feeling like you just don't know where the off button is for your thoughts, and that is keeping you feeling like you are on edge, like your mood is up and down, maybe you're not sleeping well, maybe you're not even enjoying your business as much because of this, because it literally just feels like you can never switch off from it, then this is going to be an amazing experience for you. So I really, really do hope to see you there. We are going to be doing all of this with EFT. And as I said, it is completely free. Now, we have been talking on the topic of switching off as well as using EFT tapping for emotional well-being for entrepreneurs. So, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, we need to have a level of emotional resilience and emotional intelligence. And having a technique or multiple techniques to be able to support us to manage these emotions is really important on so many levels, which we spoke about last week, really specifically, with how tapping can help us through this. So today I actually want to chat about another thing that I find with clients that I work with that is keeping them in that constant state of on, and that is an underlying fear of failure or an underlying fear of success in their business. So they are operating day to day from this fear of what if I fail, for whatever reasons they have underneath that, whatever subconscious reasons are underneath that, this fear of what if I fail. And on the opposite side, I have some who have this fear of success. We've done a whole tapping circle. If you're in the tapping circle, there is a replay in your replay vault that you can listen to. So we have a whole replay on fear of failure or fear of success and overcoming that with EFT. But when we are feeling like we are operating from this space, what if I fail? What if I fail? What if, and what that means to you, then this is going to be keeping that pressure alive for people to be able to switch off. Because how can you switch off if you feel like you have to constantly be on and constantly be doing so that you don't fail? And so we're not going to keep talking too much about fear of success today. We're going to really go more with the fear of failure. And at the end of this episode today, I'm going to take you through a short EFT tapping so that you can start to experience how you can use EFT not only to manage stress, not only to process emotions, but to start to shift limiting beliefs and things like that as well that are keeping this stress and these emotions alive for you.
You're listening to Alive and Thriving with Jessica Reed, the podcast that's all about empowering you to achieve optimal wellness and success through self-care, holistic practices, and raw conversations. Jessica and her expert guests are here to share powerful insights and strategies to help you overcome stress and anxiety, take charge of your life, and thrive in life and in business. Grab a cuppa and let's dive in.
So, when we are operating from a space of fear of failure, it is going to impact all of the decisions that you make, not only in your business, but also in your life as well. When we are operating from a fear of failure, it is going to impact your growth and your well being. And this in itself can lead you down a pathway of burnout, stress, and negative mindsets. When we have this fear of failure, there is a story behind it, and there is subconscious beliefs behind it, and it is living deep within your body. And you may not be fully conscious at all of what this fear of failure is actually really truly about. But what you will start to notice in your day to day life and in your day to day decision making, particularly around your business, is that you are going to be having behaviors like self sabotaging, keeping yourself small, fear of being visible. These are things that are going to start to manifest in your world if you are scared of failing. You might find that you've just gotten to this income level and you just plateau, or you just stay there. You've hit your glass ceiling and you just stay at this income level, or you stay at the same launch numbers every month or however often you launch, or you don't allow yourself to put your prices up or to change the way that you do things when they are not working. And in your mind, you might even be thinking, oh, I'm failing anyway. But you're not. You're just stuck in this loop of comfort. And the thing is, with this comfort is not serving you, and this comfort is something that you need to be aware of, because the only way to break through this is to be able to step out of that comfort and retrain your nervous system that something else is safe. But if you have deep-seated beliefs around a fear of failure, around what that means to you more so often it's not just, oh, what if I fail? It's more about when we actually dive deep down, and you might even like to get a journal after this episode and deep dive down. If I fail, then what? What does that mean to me? If I fail, what does that mean to me? And when in the past have I perceived that I have failed? Because that is going to be some evidence for you in terms of what is holding this up for you. What is keeping it there alive? What is making your danger signals be there going, hey, stepping out of this isn't safe for you because previously you failed. I had a failure story. I did a lot of tapping on this story. I'll share it with you. I think I might have shared it in a previous episode. I'll share it again. So I had a business in 2013, and I created a health and wellness exhibition. Ran it for 2 years. I did it pretty much all on my own. I didn't have a team, only a team that helped me on the day. We had around 180 exhibitors. We had over 2,000 people come through the gates. That increased in the second year. This was just the first year. And on the outside, it looked like a phenomenal event. There was entertainment, like it was a proper event set up. You wouldn't know that I had no idea what I was doing when I set it all up. But I was creating that event from a very poor relationship with money. And I undercharged for stalls. I let people in for free. I did all of these things. I took lower sponsorships than what I should have. I did all of these things, or not in lower sponsorships. Added, I added more in that really ended up costing me. And that was all because of my relationship with money. So what happened then was in the second year, I lost some money from this event. And it's so funny now because if a business owner is like, I'm spending money, like, that's okay. It's okay. You do need to be able to do things in your business. But the second year I lost a chunk of money, and had determined that I had failed. That for me was like, no, I failed. And that brought up a heap of emotions inside of me, like shame and fear and, oh, what else? I was humiliated. I was absolutely humiliated. And I could not, even though, like I said, on the outside, this event looked really successful. And I should have been so proud, so proud. I could not look at this event or think about this event. I don't even think I followed up the video footage from the second year because of how ashamed I was about something that nobody else knew. No one else knew, but I thought they could see right through me. And so this shame just stayed with me. And then this fueled a fear of failing to the point where I cancelled. I was like, no, I'm not doing the next year, even though I had a plan to move venues. I had a plan to basically keep my costs down and actually turn it profitable, which I'm so capable of. I know I am so capable of it. I have evidence right here. I have created a successful, profitable, scalable business. But this fear of failure was linked to the shame that I was carrying. Now, this shame wasn't necessarily linked to a failure. And this is why it's really great to, in the past, from my childhood. When you start to navigate through things and you're asking yourself, what is keeping me stuck here? Why am I so scared of failing? I would, if no big events come up where you're like, oh yeah, I know I thought I failed here, or I got in, I did my best in this spelling test and I got in trouble as a child. And so now and now that's built on your evidence of being scared of failure, whatever your story is. If you can't think of anything, if nothing is coming consciously to you, I would start asking yourself, what emotions am I associating with this failure? If I fail, what do I anticipate that I'm going to be feeling? Because we're trying to keep ourselves safe from experiencing something again. Okay, that's what we're doing. We are keeping ourselves safe from experiencing something again. Now, for me, that was keeping myself safe from experiencing this feeling of shame and humiliation. And then circling right back to that, I located the shame and humiliation in my body. It was right in my gut. And that was from primary school. And so doing this kind of deep work, and I've already told you guys on other episodes how much tapping and other work I've done around and hypnotherapy I've done around my money mindset and healing my story and healing my relationship with money. So that was another aspect of that particular story. But in I guess the context of the fear of failure, for me, it was locating it back to the emotion of shame. So I would really encourage you, if you are going to go away and you're going to journal, what does this fear of failure mean to me? Does it come down to an event? Does it come down to an emotion? Does it come down to the way that somebody treated you when you were younger because of something that you tried hard with? Does it come down to the way somebody made you feel, even if it's not directly related to failing? Okay, remembering that our emotional associations aren't logical. So, what has all of this got to do with tapping? Tapping, as we spoke about last week when we went back through, how it works and how it desensitizes or neutralizes the emotions that are effectively attached to these thoughts that we are having. So I have this subconscious belief that around something that's made me feel ashamed. It was a story about myself not being good enough and not being worthy enough because I was made fun of for something that carried shame with me. I then had the perceived failure, that story of the business that attached, that brought up feelings of shame, which only enhanced the shame story that I already had. So, using tapping to actually overcome this looks like a few different levels. On surface level, it's going to look like your story. Sorry, I'm jumping around everywhere here today. So, when we're tapping, we're neutralizing the emotion attached to the thought. And then if you can circle back to your root cause emotion, like the root cause of what is actually started this whole domino effect, then you're going to be able to actually free this from your body and completely reprogram the way that your brain has associates that particular story. So I work with a lot of business owners who have fear, just like me, fear of failure because of past business stories or past business traumas, even things that have happened in their business that have really traumatized them, particularly around relationships with partners, like business partners, around money, around bankruptcy, around things that have happened that have really, really triggered a stress and a shock response for them. So we can use EFT for that. We can also use EFT with the beliefs that are coming along. So coming back to what I was saying before, you might start with just tapping on that story. Even though I'm scared I'm going to fail, it's okay. I love and accept myself. I'm going to take you through a script shortly. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see me tapping right now. Even though I have this fear of failure and I don't know what's beneath it yet, I love and accept myself anyway, but I'm willing to get curious. And just start tapping on that fear of failure, literally just using the reminder phrase as you go around the body. My failure, fear of failure, just repeating that as you go around. And then start to get curious again about what this means to you. If I fail, then what? And so then use tapping to get that bit deeper. And then ask yourself, what emotion have I associated with failure? And so for me, it was shame. And so then it was like, okay, I feel shame, I feel shame, I feel shame. So where is my earliest memories of shame? And if you feel safe enough to explore that on your own, then do. But if you feel like you need to be held and supported through that experience, I highly recommend that you reach out to a practitioner, because we are trained to hold you in that space, because the brain decides sometimes when we're getting into deep and uncomfortable things that doing the laundry is suddenly more important than what you were thinking about, and you don't actually get to effectively deal with it. It's short periods of discomfort when we're using tapping for long-term relief, because the impact that tapping has now had on that story, that business failure story, that I literally, as I said, I couldn't even think about the event. I couldn't talk about it. I couldn't look at images of it without feeling like I wanted to be physically sick and my whole body discontracted. And I couldn't do that for years and years. And now I can sit here and literally just declare it publicly. I think I shared that story on my last Becoming Limitless immersion, and went a bit deeper into it there. But I can talk about it, and I'm the big difference. And I guess what I'm saying about tapping, neutralizing the emotion behind the stories, is that I don't feel that emotional attachment anymore when I talk about it. Now it's just a story, it's just something that happened, and I've been able to switch my perception after neutralizing those emotions. Okay, we've got to be careful that we don't switch to our positive things too quickly when we're actually doing the deep tapping work, because otherwise we're not doing it effectively. So what I noticed, and just circling back to what I was saying at the beginning around clients that I have who have this fear of failure, what that is doing is that is fueling this inability for them to be able to switch off, which is what we're doing in our Tap Away Your Mental Load masterclass. For a whole hour, we are using tapping to learn how to switch off these noisy thoughts so that we can get a sense of calm in our body. This isn't about a completely quiet mind. This isn't about completely just switching off and not thinking about anything, or switching off and not coming back to the things that you need to do. This is about, as I just gave that example of me now being able to think about and tell you that story without feeling emotionally triggered. This is about you being able to switch off that stress response that you're having to the thoughts that are keeping you on the go all the time, And if those thoughts are fueled by beliefs of fears of failure for whatever your reasons are, then that is also what you need to be doing the work of. If you have this awareness that it's there, that's where you get to now choose. Do I go deeper with this? Or do I just keep going and spot firing every time I feel like I can't switch off? Now, obviously, that is only one contribution to not being able to switch off. But if we can go and we can actually find these core reasons that are holding up this inability to switch off, then you are going to, as I said, be able to neutralize the emotions attached to those stories and actually be able to then show up to what you've got to deal with without feeling emotionally triggered. So let's do some tapping together. I'm going to keep this episode relatively short today. Let's do some tapping together on the fear of failure. And so if you're just listening along, I'm just going to call out the points where we're tapping. If you are watching on YouTube, then you can see me tapping and where I'm going. And if you've never ever tapped before, then I'm just going to make a note. Let's link. I will link the post I have just done on Instagram. There is a diagram on there of where all the tapping points are. So we are tapping on the side of our hand and we are saying, even though I am scared of failing, and that keeps me constantly working, deeply and completely accept myself and my feelings. Even though I am scared of failing, and that keeps me constantly on all the time. Because if I switch off, what if I fail? But I completely accept myself and I'm ready to get curious and shift this fear. So even though I'm scared of failing, and it keeps me constantly working, constantly on the go, deeply and completely accept myself and my feelings. And so just as we start tapping, I just want to check in on your fear of failure, scale of 1 to 10. How intense is that for you? How much intensity does that fear hold, even if you don't know what it means? And you might like to come back to this and keep repeating this, or come along to our Tap Away Your Mental Load on Sunday or Monday this upcoming week, or on demand. If you're watching this later, you can literally get off this podcast episode and go and watch it on demand. And you might like to actually use that to go deeper and switch off. So tapping on your eyebrow, I feel this fear of failure deep inside of me. Side of eye, it makes me feel like I always have to be on. Under the eye, this fear is affecting my work and my life. And under the nose, I acknowledge that this fear is within me. Under the mouth, but I choose to face this fear with courage. On the collarbone, I am more than my fear of failure. Under the arms, so I give myself permission to start to let this go. Top of your head. I am capable and I can handle all challenges that come my way. Eyebrow, and it is safe for me to fail. Side of eye. It is safe for me to fail. Under your eye. I get to make the definition of failure. Under the nose, it is safe for me to fail. Under the mouth, because that is my perception of what has happened. Collarbone. And I'm looking forward to getting curious about what is keeping this alive for me. Under your arm. But for today, top of your head, I allow myself to release this fear of failing. Eyebrow. I embrace the possibility of succeeding. Side of eye, because I am worthy of success. Under the eye, and I am worthy of overcoming my challenges. Under the nose, as I trust in my abilities and my journey. And under the mouth, every step that I take is a learning opportunity. And the collarbone, I am creating a path of success and balance. Under the arm, with each breath, I feel more confident and less afraid. And the top of the head, I am grateful for my growth and the lessons I learn when I think that I fail. Take a nice deep breath, and you might like to shake it off. So I do hope that you can see how EFT can be a really helpful tool for you when you are addressing things like fear of failing. And I hope you can see how that switching off is such a holistic picture. It's not just about the workload, it's about the way that you perceive the workload. It's about the stories behind the things that are keeping you always switched on. And so if you are ready to help yourself find that off switch, then come along to tap away your mental load. There is a link in the show notes, and I look forward to seeing you there. I look forward to hearing all about your experience. And as I said to you at the very beginning, this is about you just allowing yourself to have a different experience to the day-to-day busyness, because introduction to that different experience is exactly how you start to train your nervous system that something else is possible. So come and step out of your comfort zone with me and do an hour of tapping. And I really, truly look forward to seeing you there. And yeah, if you need to come back and replay this little audio, then do that. Come back and replay that little audio of your fear of failure. I look forward to hearing, pop over into my DMs. I look forward to hearing how you go if you are journaling. What does failure mean to me? And what emotions are keeping this alive for me? What emotions have I attached to this failure? Right. Have the best day.
Wow, what a journey it's been today. We are so grateful for each and every one of you who tuned in to Alive and Thriving. If you enjoyed this episode and want to help us keep growing, please consider subscribing and leaving a review on your favourite platform. It's a simple but powerful way to support a small business like ours to continue to make an impact.